Yeah, guys, we're going to head back to football here in 1 second, but I want to do a read from our newest sponsor, Living for We. What happens when a regular day at school turns into the worst day of your life? Unfortunately, that's a reality that happens way too frequently in today's world. Gun violence is the leading cause of death among young people in America, and in communities of color, the impact is even greater. Every bullet fired creates two victims, the person in front of the gun and the person pulling the trigger. Living for We, Keep Your Head Up is an award-winning podcast that focuses on real stories, real struggles, and real solutions in Northeast Ohio. New episodes drop every other Tuesday where you'll hear from host Marlene Harris-Taylor and her new co-host, Maisha Watkins, Executive Director of the Cleveland Peacemakers. No one does a better job of bringing you stories from the front lines, victims, survivors, and those fighting for change. Each episode, we sit down with a different organization that works to end gun violence and provide resources to those affected by gun violence. Whatever kind of help you need, there's a person for you to contact. Listen to Living for We wherever you get your local podcasts or watch the video version on Idea Stream's YouTube channel. Subscribe today to Living for We on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. So, Mike, you talked to Shaun King again, and we are going to break down some Tyler
Shough.
Shough.
Do we want to watch the Shaun King thing first, then give our thoughts, or want to give some thoughts, then play Shaun King?
Let's hear what Shaun King has to say. Tyler Shough is an older. How old is he?
He's 25. He'll be 26 in September.
Yeah, obviously pretty old for a rookie quarterback. Not Brandon Weeden old,
Brandon
but
Weeden
close.
was 28, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I was all on board with that.
Why did we do that?
I was all on board with Brandon Weeden. I was convinced he was going to be good.
You want to hear the craziest Tyler Shough thing real quick?
Yeah. Are you serious right
I did.
now?
I thought he'd be good.
Is that the same year that we took Justin Gilbert too?
No, Gilbert was Manziel, wasn't it?
Was it Manziel?
I
knew he
Gilbert
came
was
in with a
Manziel,
quarterback. I just couldn't remember which one it
was.
Before we play the thing for Shaun King, Shough was Justin Herbert's backup at Oregon. To give you an idea of
that's
his
how
age.
long he's been around.
I do have some Tyler Shough thoughts, though, but let's listen to Shaun King
let's
first.
hear what Shaun's breakdown on him.
Continuing on down your top 5 quarterback prospects here, Shaun, is Tyler Shough out of Louisville. He's played 7 years of college football. He does have an extensive injury history. But if you took out all of those things and just looked at the 2024 tape, Shaun, you have a hard time finding some better tape than this kid's.
Absolutely right. And when you see the success that the older guys had last year, you know, your Bo Nix, your Michael Penix, who came in played later. Tyler is kind of had the same career. Started at Oregon, went to Texas Tech, couldn't really get a full-time starting job because either the incumbent was really good or when he got a chance, he got injured. Finally found a home last year at Louisville. And although the numbers don't jump off the screen, the film does. And if you're going to go ahead and roll this here, first of all, he's the biggest quarterback in this class, is just coming from the combine. He measured right under 6'5". Actually went out and ran low 4.6s. So he's a big guy with athleticism. And, man, when you watch this tape, if you just take all the names off of all these quarterbacks, Tyler has some of the best tape. I mean, this is big time here. Under pressure, I mean, that's just a throw that most guys wouldn't attempt to make, and even fewer guys could actually make. So he's going to be a fascinating evaluation for pro teams. I think the first thing with Tyler is, how does your training staff view his medical history? Are any of the injuries something that you think are going to linger and be a problem? But when it just comes to the best that he's shown, it's as good as Cam Ward. Let me just say that.
Second clip here from Tyler Shough, Shaun, and you said it in the last one. I'm going to reemphasize this. Blind resume, if these were just black and white dots and you saw the tape, throws like this from Tyler Shough can compare to any throw from any quarterback in this class.
And I know we're talking Tyler here, but it's one of the reasons that, you know, if I was advising Shedeur Sanders, I would be honest with him. Man, if we don't ace this process, we might not be the second quarterback selected. We got to roll the film. First of all, Tyler's bigger. Tiger has a better arm, and he makes throws like this all the time when you break down the Louisville tape. I mean, this is a dime for a right-handed quarterback rolling to his left to throw that ball with that ball location and that velocity. Look, this ball isn't dying on the wide receiver. I think this is Ja'Cory Harris, Alabama transfer too.
Yep.
I mean, that ball is right on the button. And listen, Louisville got off to a hot start this year. You know, they faltered a little bit when they played teams with more talent than them. But Tyler had a really, really impressive year when you look at the elite component of what he's able to do throwing the football. He's going to walk in a building. He's going to be physically more impressive than some of those other guys. And I would not be surprised at all if Tyler ends up being the second quarterback selected in this year's draft.
Shaun, to put the touch on that pass, rolling left, throwing across your body, that's all the no-nos that coaches say don't do. But if you got arm talent like that, you can get away with some things that most quarterbacks simply cannot.
And I'll be honest, the reason that I think he has a chance to make this extremely competitive with Shedeur is his floor, to me, is higher based on the film than Shedeur's. Like, Shedeur's got some bad tape out there from this past year. I mean, where he's not seeing the field clearly, where he's running around taking terrible sacks. The last time we saw him was his worst performance ever versus BYU in the bowl game. Like, even the games that Louisville lost, Tyler still looks like the best or one of the best players on the field. It's just Louisville's outmanned. They're outgunned from a personnel and talent standpoint. So it's going to be something to watch as we get closer and closer to draft day.
Final play here from Tyler Shough. This time we get the reverse end zone angle, Shaun, and it is another perfectly thrown touchdown pass from the 7th-year quarterback of the Louisville Cardinals.
Yeah, he's had a long time to get it right, but boy, did he get it right. And I'll be honest with you, for a comparison, Kenny Pickett sort of had the same kind of career that Tyler did, but it wasn't the switching schools. It was he never really established himself as an NFL prospect until his final year of collegiate eligibility. To me, the difference between Kenny Pickett and Tyler Shough, Tyler's more talented. Like with Pickett, it was just production. Jordan Addison had a great year. It was big numbers. But to me, when you watch some of these throws, I mean, look at the ball location. It's against Miami. This was a back-and-forth game that, if not for a few turnovers by Louisville, if I'm not mistaken, in that game, they might have outgunned Cam Ward head-to-head. But I remember watching this game, and I challenge you guys to go and rewatch this game and tell me that you feel like there's a big difference between Cam Ward and Tyler Shough based on how they played in this game. I'm a big Tyler fan.
There you go. That's our buddy. And he really likes Tyler Shough.
Ty, I'll let you go first, yeah.
I mean,
Are you with Shaun on this?
Yeah, I mean, listen, when you look at that tape, man, some of them throws that he made, like to reverse the first throw, going away from your throwing arm to square your feet up, know you about to get hit and throw a dot, like that's a big time throw. And then the next one, you roll again to the opposite side of your throwing hand and throw a dime in the corner where only your guy can get it. Then the last one, you see the arm strength where he was able to fit it through 2 different defenders, man. Hey, I mean, listen. If it wasn't for the age and the injuries, like he would
Does the age really matter that much? To me, it's the injuries.
It's the injuries. I'm not as worried about the age. He's 26.
How old is Bo Nix?
I think Bo was 24 coming out. He's 25 now, so he's a year older than Bo Nix. But if you get a decade of good play from a quarterback, he'll be 36 in a decade. That's how old Matt Stafford's here.
I understand the injury part too, but like the tape just looked good, and then he had all those injuries already.
So Greg Cassell, who I know you
he
like
picked
a lot,
him as his second best
he had
quarterback.
him above Shedeur.
Yeah.
I do think, and I like Shedeur a little more personally.
Yeah.
So I want to preface what I'm going to say with I like Shedeur a little more than Tyler Shough. But if you do look at simply just the tape, and I said it to Shaun in the breakdown, if you took the nameplates off and just black and white silhouettes of everybody, some of the throws he makes are absurd. Simply absurd. He's bigger than both Cam and Sanders.
Yeah.
He's athletic, ran a 4.6.
Yeah,
he's going to run again at his pro day at Louisville. He's going to run well again. He's got a gun. He was a 4-star recruit. It was a 5-star recruit by one service. So the kid's always had the talent. It's his inability to stay healthy, which worries me.
Yeah.
And
he had serious injuries in 21, 22, and 23.
All at Texas Tech, ironically.
Yeah.
So he transferred to Texas Tech, had 3 season-ending injuries in back-to-back seasons at Texas Tech.
This year at
Went
Louisville,
to Louisville, stayed healthy, played very well.
What were his numbers? Did he have huge numbers?
He had 23 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, 7 interceptions.
Why weren't the numbers bigger? Is Louisville bad?
They were okay. Their offense teetered towards the end.
Yeah.
But it was a pretty balanced offensive attack and not a dynamic pass catcher room. But I like the tape. Todd McShay was going to be on with us in a little bit. He had Tyler Shough as a top 32 prospect on his big board.
Yeah.
He had Sanders higher, but he has Shough in the top 32. I don't think it's crazy if a team trades up and takes Shough at the end of the first round, but I think he's going to be an early day 2 pick.
Well, let me ask you this. if you were if I told you, gave you these two options, and maybe you don't think this is realistic, but let me throw this at you. At the end of the first round, or by the end of the 33rd pick, the Browns could have these two players on the Browns. I'm going to give you two pairs. Which would you take?
Travis Hunter and Tyler Shough.
That was one of them. The other is Shedeur Sanders and Travion Henderson.
Ooh.
I swear to God, that's one of the topics I had on the list for them. Read
really?
the first topic on this list.
Would you rather have Sanders at 2 or Carter and Hunter? And yeah, I threw in the other player, but yes, same question. Would you rather have Sanders and say Travion Henderson? I just kind of picked him out of scratch. I don't know that they would take a running back there. Or would you rather have Travis Hunter and Shough?
Okay, see, let me
parse it out. Parse it out. Yeah,
parse it out.
Talk it out. Talk it out.
No.
Can
I trade Travion for Mecca Egbuka?
Yes,
okay,
absolutely.
Because he potentially could be
okay.
there.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
At 33.
So Emeka Egbuka and
Shedeur.
Or Shough and Travis Hunter. I guess the question is, what's the bigger gap?
Is the gap closer between Shedeur and Cam?
No, that's not.
Or between Shedeur and Shough?
I'm not paying attention. This is about Travis and Emeka for me. That's where I'm at with this because.
Is it?
Because Travis plays defense too. That's the only thing.
Right, but is it? You ultimately want the better quarterback.
Yeah.
If you think Shedeur is better, but none of us know for sure, right?
No.
Like, even if you think Shedeur is better than Tyler Shough, you probably think, okay, maybe it's a 60% chance he's better or a 70%. There's no way anybody can be 100% certain that he's going to be better. Whereas, I think we'd all be surprised if Egbuka was a better NFL player than Hunter, no?
Yes.
For the Cleveland Browns.
Yes. Is Shough a pocket player, basically?
Yeah.
He's a pocket passer that has athleticism. Exactly.
So both quarterbacks kind of fits the fancy.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I think I might go to Travis and Tyler Shough route, which sounds absurd to hear
that
me
is,
say.
you just told us
I
yesterday
don't think that's
you were
absurd.
No, because I just said that I'm on the Shedeur Sanders at 2 thing.
Yeah, I'm on board with it too.
But the reason being is because I just go back to Kevin. I always got to think about with the Browns, and I think if we're gonna go back to Kevin Stefanski's offense, because who was on? Ross Tucker was talking about it yesterday with Jalen Milroe. He was like, think about running that play action, that boot. You got a quarterback you got one read. You got this over route. If that over route is covered, you could take off. Well, we know with Tyler Shough running a 4.6. He has that option to do that.
I don't want him running with the injury history, though.
I
want him being protective of himself.
He's
not running
hits.
like Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, no, he ain't.
I'm just saying.
He ain't taking hits.
You got to listen. The quarterback's got to run sometime.
Yeah,
all I'm
course.
saying is, if it's 1st and 10, and we call a play action boot on the first play, on the 1st and 10, and they cover the over route, 2nd and 6 is much better than 2nd and 10.
Facts.
So I'm thinking from that standpoint. And to think about having a guy like Travis, if people think that Travis is the best player in this draft, there's some people that say he is hands down the best player. I know people feel about Abdul Carter.
Yeah.
Some people think it's Travis Hunter. But to say that you got the best player in the draft and you got a quarterback that can come in, that can make all the throws, but maybe has some injury history. But if you protect him, which the offensive line is aging, so I give you that. But if you protect him, he's good enough to make every throw, and you can call anything you want and go back to Kevin and he can run it to perfection. Why would you not? But I will say with Shedeur, obviously he's running his offense from Pat Shurmur, who taught Kevin what he knows. We even showed the play yesterday where I told y'all he ran the bang 8. He ran the RPO boom through the bang 8. That's Kevin Stefanski and that was Amari Cooper's bread and butter.
Right.
So Shedeur already knows all of that stuff, so you really wouldn't have to teach him anything. He kind of knows. He just got to go under center. Which
what do you think the percentage chance is that Shedeur Sanders ends up being the best quarterback in this draft? If you had to put a number on it.
The percentage chances?
Yeah, that he ends up being the best quarterback in this draft.
35%.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, what do you think the percentage chances that Tyler Shough ends up being the best quarterback in the draft?
10 to 15.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. I mean, is Tyler Shough more skilled as a quarterback than Shedeur Sanders.
Arm talent-wise?
He has
yes.
a bigger
Overall,
arm.
not just arm, like the
So
whole package.
So the one thing that I didn't get into is Shaun, and I didn't hear Greg get into, because I went back and listened to Greg's thing before I did the Shaun thing, because I wanted to come into it with, and with Shedeur, we always got the mental part of Shedeur is where it's at. He can read defenses. He sees and anticipates at a high level. A lot of the intangibles, you mentioned the Joe Burrow comparison yesterday. Shough has played in 3 different systems. Played in Oregon system, played in Texas Tech system, played in Louisville system. He played a ton, or maybe not played a ton because he sat out a ton of games, but had been in college football for 7 seasons.
How many games has he actually played? I mean, it has to be. I'll look it up. I'll look it up.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
So neither Shaun nor Greg touched on the mental side and the mental makeup of Shough. I'm not sure if he came into all those reads at Texas Tech, Oregon, Louisville, wherever, with a predetermined one-read system, or if he was able to survey the field, make changes at the line of scrimmage like we know Shedeur did. And without that information, I can't give like a full evaluation on what I think Shough's true ceiling and potential is, because that's arguably as important as the arm talent is on the NFL level.
Just said he didn't play at the Senior Bowl.
That was the East-West Shrine Bowl. I'm looking at Google. I didn't know.
By the way, Shough played 42 games, technically played 42 games, but he didn't really, because he played legitimate 12 games last year. He's played legitimately 34 games.
Which is a good.
The first 8 games, he looks like he played like one play a game.
That's a decent sample.
That's a good. But I don't know.
He threw 951 college football passes. That's a pretty good amount.
Good sample size.
That's 3 seasons, essentially.
What was his touchdowns to picks ratio?
Touchdowns to picks for his career.
Yeah.
This year was excellent, 23-6.
Okay.
But for his career, 59-23.
So 3 to 1.
Completion percentage career 63%. Not great.
That's not great.
The touchdown to interception ratio is, it's okay.
I lied. I'm taking Shedeur and Mecca.
The numbers don't impress you. I mean, they don't blow you away.
It's really the last year. What he did at Louisville.
This past year at Louisville, but his completion percentage was still low. It was 63%. 23 touchdowns, obviously very good. Only 6 picks, very good.
Yeah.
Yards per attempt was 8.2.
It's not bad.
Yards per catch, 13.1, and he averaged 266.3 yards per game. So, good numbers. Not amazing, but good numbers.
I switched my answer. Shedeur and Mecca would be
what
my
I want to
answer.
hear from Todd McShay is the only reason this guy seems to be discarded, is it just the age and the injuries? Because if those are the only reasons, you got to seriously consider him at some point. If those are the only reasons, especially because the injuries were bone injuries.
Yeah.
Now, maybe there's something to it. I don't know. But bone injuries more often are freak injuries as opposed to maybe a systemic problem.
And Todd's high on Shough, like I mentioned.
Yeah.
He has 4 quarterbacks in his top 32. He doesn't believe the top-tier talent at the quarterbacs. And I like Todd. For the record, I think he's one of the guys that I listen to more than a lot of the draft guys.
Yeah.
So if I'm a little biased by it,
sure.
so be it. But I admit I listen
But he had those 3, and who's the 4th? Jackson Dart?
Jackson Dart was the 4th. And he had Jackson Dart and Shough at 29-30 or 30-31 in his top 32, and then Sanders in the 15 range, and then Cam Ward was a top 5 prospect for him.
I mean, if the bottom line is, if Shedeur Sanders is the 15th best player in this draft, if you
take him at 2.
You take him at 2. Yeah. I know that doesn't, for some people that doesn't add up, but you're picking 2. You're not picking 15. Yeah. Sorry. If you think he's a legitimate first-round player, but there's other guys who are better, well, those other guys don't play as important a position.
I'm trying to see.
It's a tough call. In a perfect world, the Browns could get Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter, but
there was a time where I thought that could be possible.
Yeah.
There's no world where Shedeur's fallen past 3 now. None. Zero.
I think that's very likely the case. I agree with you.
Where he's not falling past 3.
Yes.
Yeah, the Giants, if the Browns don't take him, the Giants will.
I think Cam Ward 100% is going 1. I think there's a chance it's not the Titans.
Have you seen the Vegas line now? No. He's like minus 450 to be.
Yeah. But the thing in terms of Shough, the age doesn't bother me. He's just going to turn 26 in September.
Correct.
So, I mean, that's not that old.
No.
There's no reason. If he's good and if he stays healthy, now those are both big ifs. There's no reason he can't be a great player for 10 years. When you draft a quarterback, I don't know that you're thinking, I'm going to have this guy for 15 years. You get if the Browns got a quarterback to play at a high level for 10 years, I think we'd all sign for it right now.
I think it's
Joe Burrow was drafted. He was 25. So like,
No, that's not kidding.
what are y'all trying
just
to?
4 years ago, right?
What are y'all
No,
trying
this
to
is,
accomplish next year with the Browns?
This will be Joe's sixth.
What are you?
Six?
What are you
Let's
trying
see,
to accomplish?
21,
He was
with the Browns?
23.
I gotta know.
He was
This will be a six. You're right.
Yeah.
No, I thought it
He
was
was
four.
23
Sorry.
when he was
Sorry.
drafted. Yeah.
My fault.
But the point, what was Bo Nix? 24, 25? I mean,
If you
that
get a
seems
decade
silly.
with Tyler Shough,
Yeah, I get
it doesn't matter.
The injuries, I get it. The age, I think, is overstated. But go ahead. Sorry.
What are you trying to accomplish with the Browns next year, like this upcoming season?
Well, the number one thing is to get the best quarterback I can possibly can. Now, ultimately, I'm not an aficionado on draft picks to know personally whether or not any of these quarterbacks are going to be true difference makers in the NFL. If they're not, I wouldn't take any of them. It seems to me that there's at least a chance that Shador or Tyler Shough could be difference makers in the NFL. I'm not sure. I don't know well enough. But if they are, then I would absolutely consider them certainly drafting them in the first round. But in a perfect world, you'd be able to get one of those two guys and Travis Hunter. But that's probably not obviously getting Hunter and Sanders is impossible.
Yeah.
Could you get Hunters and Shough? Yeah, I think that's probably doable.
Or
Browns
Dart,
might have to trade up into the bottom of the first round.
I think there is a world
Yeah.
where if they don't go Sanders at 2 and they take Carter or Hunter, regardless of
Yeah.
what your preference is, that they end up trading from 33 up to like 18, 19 to get ahead of Pittsburgh to take their second
Maybe.
quarterback of choice.
Maybe.
Or their third
Yeah.
quarterback of choice.
I just think I guess it ultimately comes down to which one can you live without? Like which one could you be okay?
You can't live
with?
without a quarterback.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
But you got to believe that quarterback
Yes.
can be a franchise
Yes.
changer.
If the
not,
Browns,
you don't take him.
And whether it's not Sanders, let's say the Browns love Shough or love Jackson Dart. If they feel like any one of those guys is the franchise-changing quarterback,
Yeah.
that's the pick at 2.
The one thing about this Jackson Dart guy,
And he's
is, like,
tomorrow's Shaun King.
he's
breakdown,
been
by the way.
healthy, and he's got everybody talks about it. He's the most toolsy guy. And why wasn't he more productive? I don't like guys that the guy's the perfect athlete. He's the perfect quarterback and physically. Well, why wasn't he productive more?
Well, he's our breakdown with Shaun King tomorrow, so you'll hear what Shaun thinks about
I
him.
guess he was more productive than I thought. So what's his problem? Why he didn't have a great year this past year, right?
He had up and down. He did get hurt for a little bit.
He had like I think
Ankle
he said
injury.
an ankle sprain.
Yeah, he had an
or
ankle
something.
injury.